what we've created now, which is an Erebus car that no one else can have. It's all our development, apart from the engine, of course, is to Walkinshaw, but it's a car that we've developed, and we don't sell parts. We keep all our IP in-house.
People actually say, in the beginning, that say, oh, she's just doing it because she's got money and she's bored. No, it was nothing to do with that I had money and I was getting bored. It was because I loved it. For me, it was about the racing. I just fell in love with the atmosphere, the fans, the people, the cars, everything. It was meant to be.
David Reynolds is now on target for a race victory.
In 2018, Erebus Motorsport had their most successful season to date, finishing 4th in the championship.
It's been a brilliant championship campaign.
Winning the last race and looking so strong.
It's been jammed with emotional moments, heartbreaking moments, moments of sheer racing magic. After more than 6,500 kilometres of racing across Australia and New Zealand, it's been a big, big battle of the heavyweights all season long. What an amazing drive today from David Reynolds.
He's brilliant, he's fast, he's flamboyant.
Take a bow.
In what is typically a very male-dominated sport, Betty Clemenco is absolutely a pioneer for women. She's very passionate about her motor racing and isn't afraid to speak up and fight for what she believes is the right thing in the championship.
We've got a fair few females in our team. I don't think it makes it any different. If you're good at your job, you'll get the job. And that's what Betty always says. And I suppose you just can't be sensitive working in this industry.
It's a pretty good feeling. There's always been a few of us, but to be one of the only few in pit lane is pretty impressive, and it's good to be an influence to younger females.
One of the most endearing parts about Betty is that she loves the fans. She's really engaged with them, and she filters that down through her team to her drivers and to all of the staff that work with her.
Betty's kind of like our racetrack mum. She's always looking out for myself and Dave and the whole crew and the whole team. She's always got our best interests at heart.
She's always happy, very generous, always sees a positive side in life.
What I call the heartland, the pure fan really adore.
Ta-da!
And another one.
My father was a Hungarian immigrant. He was in a camp from the age of 18, not because he was Jewish, but because he was listening to the BBC. He was there as a political prisoner, so he got a job with the commandant, and it was called a putzer, and he used to shine his shoes, and he would get the scraps like potato skins and stuff like that, so he could feed people around him. He came to this country, and as he got off the boat, they gave him £10. This Jewish organisation gave him £10, and he did everything from growing mushrooms under terrace houses. He worked for Anthony Horton's as a packer storm, and he started delicatessen at Wynyard, and he had delivery boys every day. My father was one for punctuality, and there was only one delivery boy that actually delivered on time. And so he said to this delivery boy, do you want to go into business with me? And the boy said, I've got no money. And he goes, nor do I. But let's just go into business. I've seen this thing. He'd gone to America to find the relatives to see if they had survived. And he'd seen these things called strip malls, where they put all the shops together, and they were calling them shopping centres. He came back and he really wanted to do this. So they went to all the banks, they couldn't get a loan. They finally found a banker, and they went to the first piece of land they bought and stood there, and the banker said, look, I'm going to loan you the money, but what's the name of the company? And they said, what do you mean? They said, well, you need to name the company. So my father said, well, we're in the western suburbs and we're standing in an empty field. Let's call it Westfield. And that's how that started, and the boy was Frank Lowy. I'm not sure exactly how I was brought into the world. I think it was a cesarean. Back then, adoptions were quite common. Yeah, I mean, you'd go into like the women's hospital and they'd have a special adoption room, and it was what they called their orphanage, and you'd have like 30, 40 kids in there waiting to be adopted. And they rang them up and said, oh, we have a boy here who's, you know, matches your colouring. And he went there and my father goes, hold on, let me just have a look. So he walked up and down, and I was the last child that came in. And because I was drug dependent, I was actually giggling, but he thought I was giggling. I wasn't giggling. I probably off from a tree or something. And he said, I like her, she's got a sense of humour. And he took me instead. It was very strange. I had a privileged life on one hand, but on the other hand, that life was also hard. I had a mother who was dying of cancer from when I was about 5. Got to remember, this is back in the late 60s, early 70s. They didn't have the medicine they have now. So there was a lot of pain involved. She was in crutches. And then one day she dropped me at school. I forgot to say goodbye to her. My friends were there. I ran out of the car. And she went home, and I think the pain just got too much for her. And that day she committed suicide. I was told until I was 35 or 36 that she had died in her sleep. Then my father died when I was 37 after he'd retired from Westfield. He's been gone now 21 years. My sister and myself look after these things.